Mesdames et messieurs, dames and herren, ladies and gentlemen, étrangers, strangers. The cast is drawn from the lower classes, but we assure you they have left the streets and the gin mills behind. And as they have no money, which so often is the case, they've been encouraged to improve their minds. An opera then, presented by the poor. And we hope you find more than amusement in our play, for we pose an answer as to why, like the poor players here tonight, so many labor without light. Cities are built on the expectations of great men.
Is there anyone here?
Over here.
It's very dark.
There's only darkness here.
A time of darkness. It was foretold.
There was light once, then the fire came. Smoke rose up and blotted out the sun.
The air?
You mean the smell?
Yes.
The smoke rose up, mixed with the blood of animals. Now it hangs over our heads. Smell gets in your clothes.
And the inhabitants?
Well, they wander out there on the prairie. No roof over their heads and only the cold winds to warm them.
They must be very cold and hungry.
They're starving.
Will they return here?
Only if there's work.
Built on blood, destroyed by fire, and the inhabitants starving. Why, it could be Sodom or Gomorrah.
No, they're in Ohio.
Allow me to introduce myself. Mr. Potterfield, the first. Dry goods and retail merchandise.
Potterfield the first. Sounds like a king.
Even in a republic, one has expectations. Now then, blood, conflagration, retribution. I sense the Almighty's hand in this. How cold did you say that wind was?
Freeze a man dead in minutes.
I sell coats.
Would you let me have one, mister?
Have you any money?
I'm wiped out like the rest.
Well, normally I'd give you this coat as a form of Christian duty. But I sense you're a little bit too proud for charity. Am I right?
I'm mighty cold.
Allow me to make you a more honorable proposition. Work for me, and I'll give you this coat against your wages. How does that sound?
To a man with no coat, mighty good. Mr. Potterfield, the first.
That wind, what time of year does it come up?
Oh, it depends on the season. Early fall, usually.
Yes, early fall, and there would be some snow with that wind. Yes, wind and snow.
Hiring!
I hear you're hiring.
That's correct. What's your trade?
Soldier.
Why'd you come?
War ended. With no war, how's a man to live? I'm down to 5 cents and I have a wife and 2 children to feed.
I pay 25 cents a day. Payday's Friday.
I'll take it.
Sign right here, please.
Can't see the paper.
Do you want the light?
Yes.
There is an additional charge for it.
5 cents.
That is correct. Next.
Many are called.
You're hiring?
That's right, your trade.
Formerly a mariner?
Jack.
Elijah? Elijah Scoons. You do remember your old shipmate? It is still Elijah.
Jackie.
You do remember the Mary Dredden, the man who saved your life?
Jackie's, the finest saloon in all of Zanzibar. We came out of the swamp with money in our hands and behind us a trail of graves. And we cut a path to a sign that said, "Gentlemen, welcome to Hayes."
Peggy sheets behind the bar, eyed each customer up and down.
As Herr Somerville waited for a sign that a gentleman was in need of a very particular kind.
Reverend Dr. Jorgensen told a tale of the Molly Dread, how he alone had survived.
And all of his shipmates found dead. All of his shipmates dead.
The broad summer singing in splendor, as a breeze blew off the sea, as we named the whiskey and blood and sang, "Nearer, my God, to thee, nearer, my God, to thee." The world was filled with cigars and smoke that held out its promise to all, as we rolled each night into the streets and pissed against the wall. That was life, pissing against the wall. And there we laughed. And
there we loved, and there which wandered our best years, wading through the blood and glasses, bottles still round our ears, and dying men went staggering past, crying out for one last beer, crying out for one last beer. Each night the singing grew louder as we lay there on the floor, and at last the great God heard us and damned us forevermore. He damned us forevermore. We came out of the swamp with money in our hands, behind us a trail of graves, and we cut a path to a sign that said, "Gentlemen, welcome to Hades. Gentlemen, welcome to Hades." Elijah, you're moored here permanent.
I'm on board with Field. He owns most of what's about.
So there might be an opportunity for an old shipmate who once saved your life.
Mr. Potterfield I says where there's hunger, darkness, cold, that's all the opportunity a man could want.
And the working man, well, that must be a great thirst.
Mr. Potterfield I is temperance, Jack. No whiskey.
A great thirst for knowledge here.
Aye.
Now, Mr. Potterfield I, is he a man you can sit down and have a drink? Is he a man you can sit down and talk man to man to? You see, I've been thinking about the old days back in Zanzibar. And of course, a old shipmate would be compensated for his help. The times we've seen together. The broad sun would sink in its splendor as a breeze blew off the sea, as we lay in the whiskey and blood and sang, "Nearer, my God, to thee."
Love is lost so that it may be found again.
Mr. Scoons, Mr. Elijah Scoons?
Peggy Sheets. Is it really you, Peggy?
I wasn't so sure you remember those days we spent together near the edge of the swamp.
Those are days a man never forgets, Peggy.
Zanzibar seems so far away now. How I hated the sun on that veranda, but here there's never a ray of light. We're strangers in these dark cities.
I was a stranger once. You took me in.
You're a cold man with a warm heart.
Ah, thank you, Peggy. But the city's changed since the fire. Over there, Jack Hayes Saloon. And there's always a light on in McCormick's Tower, just above Field's store.
And between them, that picket line.
Down by the river, they call it Kilgovin. The workers packed in like cattle.
There are so many here, the Germans.
They come for work, more every day.
I saw a mother with her children. She was asking for help, but no one understood her. I gave her what I could. It made me weep.
I hope you found a friend here, Peggy.
Girl does what she has to. And you're working for Potter Field.
A man does what he has to.
They say when Field cuts his wages, his girls must go on to the street.
It's either that, or freeze in the cold wind off the prairie.
It keeps Field warm enough.
Ah, Peggy, you're as pretty as when we dance the sarabando on the veranda at Jack Hayes Saloon, huh?
I'm at Jack Hayes' new saloon, the one you helped him get.
They say that Jack prospers here, for even though times have changed, a man still needs a drink. And Jack always says, where there's drink,
there's love.